Hey, GW, you guys know who I am. Couple of things. First, the big news. You guys may or may not have heard. Well, everybody kind of heard, unless you were living under a rock. A few days ago, Gilbert Gottfried passed away. Now, most people know Gilbert Gottfried. The younger kids, I would venture to say that they know him from the voice of, the parrot in Aladdin. And he's been on countless movies. He was also on Married with Children for a couple episodes. This guy's been on everything. He was a frequent guest of the Howard Stern show. And I want to talk about my first experience and then a later experience that I had with Gilbert. If you guys remember, long time ago, long time ago, I'm going to get out of this light. Saturday Night Live used to be over at 11. And then they had a show called Showtime at the Apollo. It was a syndicated show. Yeah, Fuzzy, you don't remember. But I first saw him on there. And I'm watching this guy, and I'm not getting anything. Of course, I was maybe 10, 12 at the time. So unless it was something really ridiculously funny, I didn't catch the joke. I didn't know the meaning. So I didn't know who he was, and then I started seeing him more and more, and then of course, like Gangbusters, you recognize him. He becomes familiar. He's on, he was. If you didn't know him as Gilbert Gottfried, you were like, oh, that's the dude on Problem Child, One of Gilbert's distinct talents would it always talk like that. Well, I can't even do it. My throat is so scruffy. Guys, by the way, there's a nasty cold going around, stomach flu. I hope to God you don't get it. But he would always talk like that, something like that. Again, I can't do it. I could usually do it better. But, he was on all three of the Problem Childs. And I dug him. I liked the guy. My wife couldn't stand him. Couldn't stand the voice. So years go by, of course, right? So we went on our last cruise a couple years ago. It's been a couple years. And in the cruise line industry, if you guys don't know this, they have a regular comedian come in, PG comedian, or a G comedian during the day. Then they do a dirty night show. Wouldn't you know? We saw Gilbert Gottfried. My wife and I got an autographed DVD signed by him. And when you watch his set, it's basically the same set that he has been doing for years. And I remember the first bit, he did a bit about Charles Manson. And it wasn't funny, but it was memorable. And I think that's what Gilbert conveyed to a lot of people. That he wasn't necessarily funny, but you laughed because he was memorable. Then you started seeing him on movies and on, Married with Children. He was just amazing. His character was a big character. I think he was a cruise ship director. I can't remember, but they all went on a cruise, and I think he was on it. He was, like I said, on Problem Child. He was also the front desk attendant in a hotel in a movie called Def Jam's How to Be a Player. And it was a bit role, but I'll tell you what, he had the best lines in the whole entire film. Like, I don't know if you could look it up on YouTube, but Bill Bellamy, he was popular for like 2 seconds in the 90s. And it was all about him scoring with all these different babes and his friends and everything. But in the one scene, guys, he comes back to the hotel. Gilbert Gottfried's like, hey, did you get anything? So his voice was kind of like that. See, I told you I could do it. He said, yeah. He says, I had an onion booty. And Gilbert Gottfried's character goes, an onion booty? What's that? So for like couple seconds go by, and he goes, oh, I get it. A booty that's so nice makes you cry. That was the beauty of Gilbert. And I know it's not the greatest Gilbert Gottfried interpretation, and I know it's not the greatest Gilbert Gottfried joke that has ever been put on, film. The greatest one to me is the Aristocrats, which I cannot repeat because we have sensitive ears in this audience. If you guys want to look at it, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. And it's sad because one of the things in Gilbert's life was he had kept a severe disease hidden from general public for years. It's myotopic aopia, I think it was. It causes the muscles, I think, to slow down, wither, and die, and it's a sad thing. And it just seems like, we're starting this bad trend of, famous people that we grew up with. I saw Gilbert, like I told you, like around whenever I was 10 or 12 years old. I'm 43 now. It's another tragic indication that things are changing, and not in a good way. He was a frequent guest on the Howard Stern show. He also had a Howard TV special you guys can probably look up where he played Dracula Gottfried. That was great. Trying to think of what else he's been on, because he's been on so much. He had voiced animated characters all over the place. Like I said, he was on all 3 Problem Childs. It was just great. He was on Def Jam's How to Be a Player. Probably countless other films I'm not thinking about right now. But I read that and I was shocked. I mean, beyond belief, because, you would never expect someone like that. And what's weird was, the weird thing about it is that the last picture that I saw of Gilbert alive was with Bob Saget. Now tell me that isn't strange. But Gilbert was a comedic genius. I always loved the guy. I thought he was just amazing. And you couldn't take your eyes off him. That was the other thing about Gilbert. He was like George Carlin in a way. He captivated you. You didn't know quite where he was going. But again, I mean, think about it. He burst onto the scene probably in the 80s, guys. 80s, probably early 90s. And he has lasted. And what's even great, what's even interesting, more interesting than that is that he's still going to go on through his videos, through his jokes. And he's going to garner audience after audience and after audience. And that's the tragic beauty of these comedians that pass away. Their stuff is out there for now anyone to check out, to get into. Like Sam Kinison. Sam was another one who I grew up as a kid, and I was young when he passed away. And I still think, on a sidebar note, that Hollywood missed the boat. They should have made a movie about him. As gritty as The Doors, but with a human light side that everyone can relate to. That would have been a great biopic. Hey man, they did it with Richard Pryor in JoJo Dancer, This Is Your Life. They did it in that movie. Why can't they do it in this one? So I've been a little bit upset and shocked about this whole Gilbert Gottfried thing. And I know people don't like him because he got annoying. And my wife's one of them, and she actually showed me the article and I went, like, what? What the hell? Another one? But, what do you do? And there's some diseases out there and there's some health ailments that, just are fatal, no matter how you slice it, and it sucks. And I was just talking, a couple minutes ago about a stomach flu. And believe it or not, I don't throw up easily. I don't get knocked down. But 48 hours ago, I got out of the shower, stayed home from work, and I got out of the shower and felt like I had to throw up. So luckily I just fell down right to the toilet, threw up, and in my mind, I'm thinking I'm going to die, and it hits you. I mean, and you start thinking, your mind goes, Let's think about all the things that make you sick. Beer, right now. Bacon, grease, butter. And all of a sudden you start throwing up and you start thinking, you know, maybe this is me getting sick, but maybe it's also a sign. You don't know. So I just wanted to share that with you. And it just, I didn't feel like doing anything after I watched that or saw that. The only other piece of news I got is that I don't know if you guys may have caught it on Fight TV, but if you're a wrestling fan, you guys know about XPW, how quickly it was shut down by the feds and everything. Last Saturday, they had their return to the King of the Deathmatch tournament. And honestly, I bought the event. It was $20 to buy on Fight. And I said, you know what? We'll see what Rob Black's got in the cannon. Well, tell you the truth, guys, they put on a hell of a great show with some big name deathmatch stars. So it's just nice to see something that was good. Trying to think of what else is coming down the pike. If you guys played Elden Ring yet, there is a boss on there that I was warned about and that you guys should be concerned with too. Morella, Blade of Mikola. Now let me tell you something about this boss. When I had first heard about it from my buddy Green, I was like, you know what, alright, she's tough. I didn't know she was damn near grueling. Now, I had talked to somebody today and I said, yeah, I went at her for about over an hour. And that's no joke. A 6 or 7 minute boss fight turned into about 3.5 hours. And at the end of the battle, when me and my buddies, we finally beat her. I put down the controller and I was done, wiped. And it wasn't a streak of frustration. It was a streak of tired pridedom. Where you're so tired, you've went tooth and nail, you've given it everything you've got, you've conquered, but now you're tired and you're done. And I have zero desire to go back and fight that boss. It's an optional boss. But people are like, dude, you need to beat her. So, hey, I stepped up. But kudos to FromSoft for making one of the hardest bosses in video game history. I wanted to thank you. Because bosses like that do one thing. Especially when you can co-op. It was me, a dude that I kind of know, and a dude I never knew. But for 15 minutes, we got together. We were all friends. And we all helped each other out. And I'm not saying that's the reason you should play Elden Ring or anything like that. I'm just saying it was a nice change of pace. But I just had to get off that Gilbert Gottfried thing, guys. So, yeah, it's sad, isn't it, buddy? So we're going to try to have something for you tomorrow. Rest in peace, Gilbert.